we're back here. I've already started this a little bit, but I did my very first service at Indian on a 2024 Chieftain DarkHorse. And, you know, for the board certified educated mechanic, I know one thing to be true. I shouldn't be puncturing a hole in the oil filter to get the dang thing off. Got the Pittsburgh 1500 pounder, and I'll tell you one thing, it is working pleasures on my 2024 Indian Chieftain here. Oil filter thing, I'm kind of glad I did this one myself. Changed the oil. I will tell you that the oil looks phenomenal. As you can tell, it did fill up this entire large Purdy paint roller thing. But we're about to put this back together, show you guys how the lift kind of works. I am going to grab my little shop rag here, kind of clean it up a little bit. A little bit of oil came out, obviously, on the outskirts. And I'm just going to seep these right in here. If you don't happen to have like a brake cleaner or some type of like, I guess you could use a PB blaster too. This right here, along with a microfiber if you're choosing one that you don't necessarily really care about too much, is a good way to clean everything up. I like to put a little bit of my rag here. Make sure you don't get it in your oil pan. And then just kind of clean it up. And for the 2024 Chieftain specifically, it is a 6mm Indian, or I mean a 6mm Allen, and it goes to 15 foot-pounds. Now we are going to put all of our oil into our giant oil thing. So I made a mess, but you don't have to. This was not a very sturdy option, but it got the job done, right? So make sure you have shop rags handy, and make sure you have some type of cleaner product readily available. When I was saying have some shop rags handy, I meant have some freaking shop rags handy. Made a bit of a mess, so I have plenty of these guys, and it is a bit of a lifesaver. I'm going to come obviously behind this some actual stuff to clean this. But yeah. Try to avoid doing just that, but rubbing alcohol is a lifesaver when it comes to this type of stuff. And it is cheap, so take your pick when you're doing this. So, not only was it the oil filter, but also the oil dipstick. By the way, this is more than hand tight too, just in case you're wondering. I digress, it is what it is. So on the directions here from Indian specifically, it recommends that you fill it up, only add 4.5 quarts, and then start it up for about 30-second intervals. You're gonna add about 1/2 quart from there until it is completely full. Make sure it is on level ground. All right, next thing you wanna do, get yourself a little level. Find the flattest surface on your bike. Anyways, get yourself your little oil spout. Slide it on in there. And you're going to do, like I said, the first 4 quarts, you're going to just dump in. So 4.5 of these guys, because these are each 1 quart, you're going to put in there. And then once you've done that, like I said, for every 1/2 quart after that, up 2 to 6 quarts that the bike can take. You're going to turn the bike on for about 30 seconds. You're going to let the oil cycle through, both into the filter and throughout the motor. And then it may not take the full 6 quarts, but it is rated for 6 quarts. The oil that they give you right here is a semi-synthetic 20 weight 40, okay? We have our oil, Indian semi-synthetic, 20 weight 40. I did 4 full, bring it down to 16, that's 4.5. And now once we've gotten to the 4.5 marker, we need to start the bike. But you want to come over here and make sure that your oil filter is hand tight. It is kind of a pain in the ass where it's at, I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's in a bad spot. But get yourself your microfiber that's had some rubbing alcohol on it. But that being said, go ahead and get your oil stick. Put it back in, because now I have oil all over my bike. Which isn't the end of the world because I need to clean it anyways. Not all the way. Tighten it down quite a bit because you're going to get an accurate reading this way. But we'll be back and then we'll continue with the video. Okay, so the next thing you need to do, if you're in this predicament like I am, because we just moved across the country, get you one of these guys, little battery tender trickler charger. And this one specifically has the adapter that goes straight into the head unit area of the Indian. If you look right over here, you have this little cover switch on the right hand side of your infotainment center. Lift it up and you can plug your battery tender right in there. So that's what we're gonna do. Let it charge for a minute and then we'll come back, start it up. It'll say select battery type. Make sure you know if you have a lead acid or a lithium ion. I have a lead acid battery. So you hit lead acid and then just let it do its thing for a second. It'll obviously talk to the battery on the bike. It'll make sure it's good and then it'll start charging. And then once we've had it on for 30 seconds, we're gonna go back and we're gonna measure and see where we're at. Anyways, I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna check our dipstick. Anyways, come over here, check your dipstick. Got your shop rag, take it out. And we're just gonna see where we land. So I'm gonna draw this off one more time and we're just gonna check. But anyways, you wanna see where that 4.5 quarts got you after you had the 30-second startup. So now that we dipped it back in, and take it back out, and yeah, we need more. So I'm not entirely sure why Indian has it done this way, but they do. I'm gonna just, it says remember half a quart at a time, but we got our other half quart in there. Now put the dipstick back in. All right, we just did another 30 seconds. So we're gonna check, see where we're at in the dipstick here. Okay, so that got us to about halfway up to the full line. So realistically, with it barely showing the 4 to halfway up, it may only need 5.5 quarts, but we're gonna do our other half quart here and we're gonna see where we're at. But like I said, it does specifically tell you the directions that come in the kit. And that was another reason why I decided to go this route, was because instead of like buying 6 quarts of the oil individually and then going back and finding the washers and everything like that, it just was an entire kit. It came in one box, shipped directly from Indian, and I just thought it was a lot more convenient. All right, so I ended up putting in a total of 5.5 quarts. It doesn't want you to fill it up to full. It wants you to fill it up to where it's in between the add and the full marks. You don't want to oversaturate or overfilter. And you also don't want to have a loss of performance, but both are possible if you do overfill it. So I'm going to stick with the 5.5 quarts because I'm at that recommended point on the dipstick. And then if at any point, obviously during my riding here, between service intervals, if I need to, I have a half a quart too left over. So that helps as well. Now, the next one, but you want to go over to your screen here. And it says, obviously mine says oil change due. I did my first service at 500 miles. We're sitting about 2161 right now. You click on the notification, overdue by 1 month. So it says Indian Motorcycle recommends a first oil change at 500 or 12 months, then every 5,000 or 12 months thereafter. So I hit the 12-month mark. So you just hit reset. So it says due in 5,000 miles, 12 months, and then you're good to go. So anyways, like I said, did the oil change, had the mishap, obviously, not a big deal. It's good to go. Another thing is too, we have our oil right here, and the nice thing about it is all we have to do, take that into an AutoZone. Like I'm going to take my oil pan with me as well, drop both those off. But it was a pretty easy experience. I don't think I would take it back to an Indian because it was about $300 to $500 to have a service done, and that was just oil change. Obviously they might check some other things, but I don't need anything else right now. That being said, thanks for watching. See you soon.